Hi, this is Johan, and this is a video that I made. I kind of want to show my process when making art, and I've done similar videos before, but yeah, why not another one? So I just wanted to draw some weird creature. I started out and I hated it, so made another one, and I guess the pose and the creature design isn't going to be all that spectacular in this video because I want to show you how I do like texture work and the process for that. So I make a very quick sketch at first, just to get some basic shapes and ideas in. Sometimes I use more like reference photos for this, but here I'm just drawing from imagination. So when I have the sketch, I uh, make it low opacity, create another layer to try to make like the initial silhouette for the art. So my process is basically start by making a good silhouette and then add highlights to that. So I paint with white inside of the black silhouette and then essentially using masks to do like texture work and stuff. But yeah, so here I'm just making the silhouette as good as I can. There's always room to change this once you start, working with the final lines and the line work and whatever. Like I tend to make this in the beginning, like this silhouette, and then once I start working, I just fuck it up completely and change it. Maybe not so much in this video. We'll see. I don't really remember. I record this after the fact. So, yeah. This is gonna be like a weird sort of mutant minotaur dude. Um, anyway, select what's inside the lines, expand the selection a bit to account for the line. It's called anti-aliasing. Aliasing. And then create a new layer, paint with white to try to like catch the sort of highlights and build the shape using that. It can be pretty rough now because I'm gonna go over this later on as well with texture work. So just get like the big shapes, and it's actually quite cool, I think, how just by doing this you can get a pretty good sense of the shape and the final thing. Like it will help you get an understanding of what it will look like, kind of. And I mean, you can pretty much just leave it at this as well. Like this is a super valid and cool, I think, art style. Where you just have the two colors, black and white. For some reason, I didn't pick like white here. It's some kind of strange beige that I got. I don't know why. That's also another thing that you can change, of course, and I will do that in this video too. Here you can see I'm struggling with like what to do with the arms. This hand is pretty easy and standard. The other one I was like, I don't know what to do with it really, so I just leave it to now and then fiddle with it later. For some reason, I also made two layers for this, so I just merged them, two layers for the white, and then I merged them together now. You can also see that I changed, I don't know what it's called, but I changed the layer so that it's inside the silhouette layer. And then now I start working with the mask. So I created a mask, and now I'm painting on the mask so that it will sort of remove sections and parts of the white layer that I made. And this will sort of build nice textured gradients. I also go over it with just wild with splatter brushes. That creates a good baseline as well for texture. And then this with the white, I just use the eraser tool. So I paint using my sort of texture brushes, my grunge brushes, and then I switch to the eraser to make the highlights. And that way I build the shape. Here I draw just the outlines for this axe thing using the mask as well. Just masking the white layer that I did. And then I can't help myself. I just keep doing these splattery bits, and it makes sense for a minotaur axe to be kind of bloody and gunky. Doesn't strike me as a dude that takes care of his tools that much. And then I just go over it. I draw with white on the black, try to get a sense of the shape. This is another layer that I made that is not inside the silhouette layer, and that is just to do like additional details like jewelry or things that go outside of the black silhouette. Some additional texture work, doing some fern stuff, and then just adding a bunch of shit. More highlights. I think it's at this point. Yeah, I was like, yeah, maybe he should have like an armor or something like curious. And usually every time I do armor, I always have reference photos because like armor's hard, you know, literally. And yeah, so more eyes, teeth, of course. It's the most important part of the anatomy. Spiky fucking teeth. Fit a little bit more with the textures, with the gradients, build the shape. And then at some point, I think it is now, I want to add gray to it as well. And for that, I have to first change the background so that the background isn't the same gray that I will use for the shading inside the white layer. So now you see I made another layer. I have it inside the silhouette layer on top of the white, and then I just add a middle ground sort of gray. And also some more black that I paint the black with texture brush, erase it to create the sense of highlights, and then just more gray using multiply blending mode. Draw, and this is where you really build shape and a sense of three-dimensionality with the gray. I always feel you can make a pretty good art with just black, white, and gray, and use the masks this way with a good texture brush. I use the texture brushes from True Grit Texture Supply. Love them, so good. Both the splattery brushes that I use and the texture brushes. I can't remember what it's called, but they use Dissolve, which is nice. And then just add some like this kind of art when I don't have a commission or I don't have any specific project. I can just do whatever, and it doesn't have any place to go, so I just draw whatever. And skull and crossbones, why not? This is the sort of thing that this guy would say. I guess I don't know how you pronounce that, but yeah. And then to make it even more poppy, I may add some outline to it. You could select the silhouette layer and just expand that and do the paint bucket thing, but that will make it too clean and too perfect. I really like the sort of roughness and the sense of it being handmade and hand drawn, and it's in the imperfections is really what I'm going after. Which is good because I can't do perfection. But you should aim for perfection in some areas. But I don't think when you do this sort of art, this sort of brushy art, screw perfection. And that's it. And I think now what I'm doing is I'm not happy. I'm not super happy with the color scheme. So I do a hue saturation layer to try to get a good relation with the background and the character. I don't think I was never really happy with what I ended up with, but it'll have to do. I guess you could do it just grayscale as well, but it's fun to add a dash of color to it. And honestly, looking back at it now, maybe that this sort of brick red brownish color was good. What I had. Add some texture in a layer. quite heavily textured, and then add a mask and paint again with the same texture brushes on that mask. So you like do it twice. Same thing with the character. Put all the character layers into a folder and then or a group, and then added a mask to that group. So yeah, that's it. Here's where I'm changing the outline and all the white details to actual white, because the hue saturation layer would mess it up. Because I think I used colorize, so it changes even the the highlights and the white. And then now I add additional highlights in another layer. Just create a layer on top of everything, draw with white to get these highlights, or as we say in Sweden, högdagrar. Yeah, and that's it. These are all like, you don't need to do this, but I think it's nice. And the fact that I also do this kind of rough, and so it gives it, I don't know, I like it. And then I sign it for some reason. I never sign my art, so I don't know why I did it here. And here's when I realized that as well. So yeah, well, that's kind of how I do it. Hope you like it.